I'd like to call to order the North Aurora Village Board meeting of Monday, September 21st, 2020. Our meeting is on Zoom, and hopefully everybody got the information is attending the meeting that wanted to. We'll open our meeting with a silent prayer and meditation. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag
flag
of the
of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with
liberty and justice
for all.
We have roll call, please.
Mayor Berman,
Here.
Trustee Curtis,
Here.
Trustee Carroll,
Here.
Trustee Gaffino,
Here.
Trustee Gately,
Here.
Trustee Lowry,
here.
and Trustee Martinez. And he will not be here tonight, most likely.
Well, welcome all. I have a proclamation. Proclamation is a National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And whereas September is known as National Suicide Prevention Month, the National Suicide Prevention Action Month proclamation was created to raise the visibility of mental health resources and suicide prevention services available in our community. Now, whereas suicide thoughts can affect anyone regardless of age, gender, or background, and whereas suicide is the number 10 leading cause of death among adults, and the second leading cause of death among individuals between the age of 10 and 34 in the United States. And whereas North Aurora, Illinois is no different than any other community in the country, but chooses to publicly state and place our full support behind the local educators, mental health professionals, athletic coaches, scout leaders, and parents as partners in supporting our community and being available to one another. And whereas local and national organizations like Suicide Prevention Services are on the front lines of a battle that many still refuse to discuss in public. And whereas the youth of our community should understand throughout life's struggles, we all need to occasionally reminder that we are all fighting our own battles. But whereas I encourage all residents to take the time to inquire as to the well-being of your family, friends, and neighbors over the next few days, and to genuinely convey their appreciation for their existence by any gesture that deem appropriate. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Dale Berman, Village President, and the Board of Trustees of North Aurora do hereby proclaim the month of September 2020 as National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month in the Village of North Aurora. Signed today, 2020, Dale Berman, Village President. Audience comments. If there are audience comments, people want to speak of the two issues that are in our committee of the whole, that we'll hold those comments until the committee of the whole meeting. That's fine. Are there anyone signed up to have audience comments other than the two items or the items on our committee of the whole?
Mayor Berman, this is Dave Arndt. I do not see anybody asking to speak at this time.
Very good, sir. So we'll continue on. Trustee comments. Consent agenda.
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Hold on one second. Sorry to say this so late, but trustee comments. I would just like to make a comment. I was at UFC gym this morning. Can we do something about getting that parking lot by JCPenney cleaned up? They're trash flying all over the place.
You know, it's funny you bring that up because I brought it up at Lions Club a week or so ago that, gosh, if no one else is going to clean it up, then maybe we should go out there and clean it up. So it really is disgraceful. But we have, and Michael's attested this, we talked with them. And I don't know, Mike, have you got any new
Yeah, code
answers?
enforcement is continually dealing with them, mostly JCPenney at this point. I believe we've actually issued fines. The trash seems to accumulate, you know, when the wind blows from the west to the east in that detention basin too. But yeah, we're definitely aware well of it, and we're working with the property owners we can to remedy best we can.
It's horrible. I mean, the bushes are all overgrown. It's unsightly. There's trash blowing across the entire parking lot. Target's fine. It's like you said, it seems to be right over by the JCPenney area.
Yeah, it's really a disgrace. Get in and do it. If we find it or whatever, it still doesn't help. Trustee Lowry,
Yes.
were you going to say something?
No, I was just coughing.
All right, we're back in consent agenda. Do we vote?
No, we have not yet.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Carroll,
Yes.
trustee Curtis,
Yes.
trustee Gaffino,
Yes.
trustee Gately,
Yes.
and trustee Lowry.
Yes.
All right, moving on, under new business. Item number 1, Steve.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 1 is, I'm going to try to make this a little less confusing. We were doing some cleanup of our liquor code, and in doing so, we have to remove 2 liquor licenses of businesses that are no longer in business. And that would be the Class A reduction for Eddie's Pizza and a Class L3 reduction for Hammer and Stain. In doing so, we were going through the code, and we thought we had to decrease the number of B licenses from 5 to 4 because we thought 1 had transferred this year to a different license. In prepping for tonight's meeting, I just determined that that was an error and that we actually do have 5 Class B licenses. So what we are doing in this item number 1, to put it easy, is we're reducing Class A by 1, we're reducing Class L3 by 1, but we are keeping Class B at 5 licenses.
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Trustee Carroll,
Yes.
trustee Curtis,
Yes.
trustee Gaffino,
Yes.
trustee Gately,
Yes.
and trustee Lowry.
Yes.
Very good. Item 2, Mr. Bosco.
Thank you. Item number 2 is also liquor licenses. We have a new business that wants to open up in the Clock Tower Plaza named A's Cafe. They are requesting a Class C license, which is beer and wine only. In doing so, once again, we were doing a cleanup now that we're increasing, and we did find that for whatever reason, we issued a Class G license which would be for a gas station, and it was never codified on our code. So we wanted to clean that up. So this is actually increasing the Class C licenses by 1 for the new business in Clock Tower and the Class G licenses for the gas station that was approved last November.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. You said this for a Class B, right?
This one's for a Class C, beer and wine only for Ace Cafe.
No. We're not gonna issue a beer and wine only for them. It's gotta be a full liquor license. I thought that was,
But why does the gas station need a full liquor license?
are we talking gas station, or are we talking about the restaurant?
It's the Class C for, this one includes increasing Class C for beer and wine only for Ace Cafe. And it includes also increasing one from that was approved but not codified for a gas station a while back.
We're not gonna get a wine and beer only for a full-scale restaurant. I thought we went through that. We're not gonna issue a Class A, anything other than a full-scale liquor serving alcohol as well as beer and wine.
Steve, why would the restaurant petition for just beer and wine?
Because they wanted to be initially a establishment that had the video gaming and didn't have enough seats to qualify for a full restaurant.
Okay, so are they going to be serving food as well?
Minimum,
Do they have enough seats now, or what changed?
yes,
Is that 75?
Correct.
Do they have 75?
Yes.
Where's this located?
It's in the Clock Tower Plaza in the old Eddie's Pizza location.
Okay.
so as a liquor commissioner, I certainly am not in favor of giving them a license for beer and wine only in a full-scale restaurant. I didn't realize that's what they were looking for. I thought we made that perfectly clear to them. You want
I'm
to
just
table
gonna-
it, or you want to vote? or
Yeah,
what?
Mark Gately here. I'm the one who made the motion. So why don't we table it for further review of how we're going to handle this?
I second that.
Yeah.
Or could we just not take any action and then bring a different ordinance at the next meeting?
Well, I already made a motion.
No, it's got to be voted on or tabled.
Okay.
So I make a motion to table.
I second.
Did we call a vote on that too?
All right, so we got a motion to table. Does that require discussion, Kevin? Kevin, any discussion on a motion to table?
Sorry, I was muted. I'm talking and you're not hearing me. You don't need discussion. And it just requires a voice vote. You don't need to take a roll call vote.
All those in favor of the table?
Aye.
Say aye.
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 Opposed? Table. Item number 3, Mr. Toth.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item number 3 is an ordinance approving an economic incentive agreement for the Gerald Ford dealership located at 208 Hansen Boulevard. As you recall, this is for the $1.8 million facility improvements and enhancements to the facility. This item was discussed first by the Committee of the Whole on July 20th, and staff later brought back a draft economic incentive agreement on August 17th with no questions. The draft before you, actually the version before you is the draft and final copy.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Oh, sorry. Trustee Carroll?
Yes.
Trustee Curtis?
She's muted. Oh, there we go.
Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Trustee Gaffino,
Yes.
trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry.
Yes.
All right, item number 4, Mr. Toth.
Item number 4 is an ordinance approving the acquisition of the property located at 19 South Lincolnway in the amount of $225,000 and a contract for the acquisition of the property. Again, this was discussed in executive session on June 15th and August 3rd. We are moving forward, proposing within 30 days of the approval. We have a contingency that we're able to inspect the site and the building. We'll take a look at the building inspection within the contingency period and further due diligence. And at that point in time, after closing, we will bring back further discussion with the village board once we've assessed everything with how we like to proceed with the property. But this is approving the acquisition and the contract for the purchasing of the property.
Motion approved.
Approve. Second.
Discussion? Hearing no discussion, call the roll, please.
Trustee Carroll,
Yes.
trustee Curtis,
Yes.
trustee Gaffino,
Yes.
trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry.
Yes.
And item number 5, Mr. Laskowski.
Hey, Mayor. This item is the approval of a tree replacement program bid to Acres Group in the amount of $31,205. Last village board meeting, we rejected the bids because they came in over budget by about $7,000. This time they're under budget by about 11. The difference is we reached out to about 15 different landscape companies this time to make sure that the advertisement was seen. Instead of getting 2 bidders, we this time got 3, and the company that the low bidder is Acres Group, and they have worked in the village before and have done a good job. One of the other changes to this contract we made was we changed the diameter of the trees from 3-inch diameter trees to 2.5-inch diameter trees, which may have also brought the price down. So at this time, we're requesting the approval of a bid in the amount of $31,205 to Acres Group.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
I just have a comment. The only issue I really have is that you called 15 landscapers, and we should really have a different way to do that, because if you call X and not Y, somebody's gonna be like, well, was that your friend, or why do you call them for? So, I mean, I'm fine with this bid here, but there should be a better way to, it's kind of sad that you have to call them and see if they heard about it. But, it seems like, somebody could pick out their 15 friends and call them up or something. So, I don't know, next year or something. There's just got to be a better way to do this. I don't know what, but and I don't know if we call 15 local ones or any North Aurora or what we
can
did,
try.
but,
I was thinking about the same thing, Trustee Gaffino, and I was thinking maybe we could even utilize social media a little bit to get the word out as well.
right, but it just seems like you're picking favorites when you pick 15 and not this guy or that company or this lady or whoever we call. And do we start with North Aurora ones, work our way out, or what? But anyway, so I certainly good pricing, and I think people are looking forward to those. So thank you for doing that.
It was bid. I mean, it was published. Not only it was bid once, it was bid twice. So everybody had the opportunity. I think that the only reason we called so many is that we wanted more people to bid, and obviously they didn't. We had 2 bids in the beginning and 3 at the end, the second time.
But if you call somebody and not the other guy, I mean, it just discretionary who you call. I just don't think it's fair that way. So that's just my comment.
Okay. Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Carroll,
Yes.
trustee Curtis,
Yes.
trustee Gaffino,
Yes.
trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry.
Yes.
Item number 6, John.
Thank you, Mayor. This item is the approval of an overhead sewer grant policy. The Public Works has evaluated the current overhead sewer grant policy, and noticed that it needed probably, that was time to update this current practice and formalize it into a policy. So we took this policy before the services committee earlier, and we received a few comments from them. Basically, the description of an overhead sewer grant policy is basically what it does is it changes a passive gravity fed sewer system in a home. So the typical system would just flow out of your house into the main and be treated by Fox Metro. In an active system, what happens is there's a pump involved, and the waste gets pumped into a pit and then pumped out and injected into the sewer main. And that's a much more effective way of preventing backups in older homes that don't necessarily have current plumbing or where the mains tend to become full or surcharged. So in the past, we've had a program that would help residents convert their systems from this passive system to an active system for a couple of reasons. One, you know, it helps the quality of life of the resident, but two, it's also more effective if the resident's basement floods. It could be a liability for the village where we're responsible for the cleaning of that basement as well. And we've noticed over time that there wasn't a whole lot of participation in this program. And so to incentivize that, we thought that maybe it'd be a good idea to increase the percentage of funding that the village was offering. Anecdotally, a lot of times when residents came in to fill out an application, we'd see that they'd fill out the application, but they wouldn't have the amount of funding needed to match the grant funds. And so they'd have to wait a couple of years before they'd be able to come and participate in the program. So by adding a little bit more money on the village end, we feel that the program could become more accessible to more residents. So instead of going with a 50% participation up to $4,000 maximum, the services committee and staff had recommended increasing that to 75% with a maximum of $6,000. And the added bonus that I just learned of recently is that Fox Metro is also now going to be incentivizing this conversion from the passive system to the active system, and they're going to add an additional 15% funding to this program. So hopefully in the near future, we can get all those residents that are experiencing backups into this program and able to retrofit their plumbing. So that's a summary of these changes for the policy, and staff is seeking the approval of that policy.
Motion to approve.
Oh, do we have a motion?
Yeah, motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All right. You know, I don't know if people are really aware of how great that feature is. Maybe we need to do some promotion as to the advantage of having that overhead system. One of my daughters who lives in Chicago has put that in their home. And it's an old home, it was built back in the 40s. And they're so pleased with it. And they didn't get any kind of participation from the city to do that. But here we got a program that's so great, and there's still people that are suffering from that. Maybe we need to do a little more aggressive, but anyway. Any other discussion?
Yeah, maybe a letter can be sent, Dale, to the areas that are affected. You know, the program is available if you choose. I think the active system is much better anyways, and it just adds to our village if we can, you know, make sure everything's clean, sanitized. So I don't know, a letter to the areas might help.
We can put it on our newsletter and everything else, but you know, it's not like we got all these ordinances, but hell, if no one takes advantage of them, or in this case, right, what good are they, you know?
Could you put it on the water bill?
Yeah.
For those areas?
Yeah, I could put it on it for everybody, but obviously those people that suffered through this ought to be able to question, would this improve my situation? So, oh well. Discussion, any more discussion? Steve, you can look into some advertising for them.
I will do.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Carroll?
Yes.
Trustee Curtis,
Yes.
Trustee Gaffino,
Yes.
Trustee Gately,
Yes.
and Trustee Lowry.
Yes.
Well, I have, that's the end of our new business. I have no old business. I think we got a newsletter going out that talks about Halloween and COVID. So we'll wait till everybody sees that. Any committee reports? Trustee comments?
I had a couple comments. You mentioned Halloween. One of the things that I wanted to bring up was that I am not at all in favor. I know there's rumors, some municipalities, some people in the state that are talking about canceling trick or treating. I don't think as a village, we have the authority, let alone, nor should we, tell a resident that they can't enter the property of another private resident and tell them that they can't go trick or treating. So
I agree. That's what my comment is in our
what's that?
newsletter. We're not going to cancel Halloween. You
Good.
did.
Good.
You know, wear a mask, stay social distancing, and if you don't want to participate, don't go. If you don't want people coming to your house, put a sign out saying, or put candy out or whatever that you want to do. But you know, come on.
I agree.
Yeah.
My second comment would be, I would like to see us at some point start planning to have live in-person meetings again. I think we can adequately prepare with plexiglass if we need to at the village hall, but I think we've been Zooming for quite a while, and I think it loses its effectiveness as a village board if we're not in person. I mean, you could even limit the audience to Zoom, but I think as a board, it's more effective if we're in person.
Any other comments? Mr. Bosco?
No report tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Mr. Attorney? Mr. Attorney, you were on there twice. I don't know. Are you really paying attention here?
I keep muting myself and forgetting that I'm muted. I have no report. I'm sorry.
Very good, sir. My department reports, finance, Mr. Hannah?
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Community development, Mr. Toth.
No report, Mayor.
Chief Fisher, police.
No report tonight, sir.
Mr. Laskowski, public works.
No report. Thank you, Mayor.
No executive session yet. Motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? We're adjourned. Our committee of the whole meeting will start